Okay. So the next question is, so just 40 days before the 40 or 30 days before the exam, what was the feeling like? Because okay, so if you had your eyes set on other colleges, then that makes sense. But what was it like 30 days before exam? Because I remember my 30 days before, so I just got the Rohtak's result and I did not get a call for interview from Rohtak. And that was exactly 30 days before my I had my IPMAT. So those days were like bit of self doubt that I couldn't even get a call from Rohtak. So do I have a chance at Indore? And also the fact that all the other colleges, every other exam I had given, and I got a few calls, but I didn't go for any of them. I didn't even reserve a seat. So for that time, IIM Indore was the only option for me, and it was like either it is or I take another drop here, and then I would have been with your batch. So what was your last 30 days like? 30 to 40 days, and
So
also share your strategy for the last 1 month for
yeah.
current aspirants.
So Harshul, just because of your situation, that's why I did not fill out forms for any other colleges. Okay, that's my reason for it. So that the other results of other colleges don't affect my result of IIM Indore. That's the reason why. So I'll share my preparation. Like I had divided my preparation into 4 phases. Initially, my focus was to complete the syllabus as soon as possible. That was phase one. In the phase two, you have to revise and start taking mocks. Mocks are very important. In phase three, you will get to know about your weak points, and you have to work on them side by side. Side by side, you have to take mocks. And in the last phase, which was phase four, you have to focus on the core problems, and you have to take at least 2 mocks every day. I personally took more than 100 mocks. Yeah, I actually did take that, but not all 100 mocks were of IPM. I had taken mocks of other colleges as well, because the syllabus is more or less same, and plus the more you practice, the better off you are. So yeah, in the last 30 days, but you have to focus on the core problems. You should know about your weaknesses, and please try to resolve your doubts as and when they arise. Please, that's the biggest advice I would like to give to all those who are watching.
Okay, so like were these 100 mocks all full length mocks, or are you including the topic wise mocks?
They were full length mocks. Yes, yes, yes. They were full length mocks.
It was 30 more than what I gave.
Oh man.
Nice. Okay, so Priyanka, what about you?
Um, do you want me to speak about only my 30 days before my SCTs or 30 days before my prep for the other IIMs?
Other I also, because I think they will only have. So 30 days before SATs also, and like how did you prepare for other I think?
So I only started prepping for the SCTs a month before. So I think the general strategy was to finish everything there was on Khan Academy. And I was also using Barron's as a guide for English. So I would definitely recommend that book because it starts from the complete basics, but it has so many exercises you can easily build that up. Even if you're going through IPMAT, it's a very good book to refer to. I think the first 2 weeks were purely just concepts and understanding the format of the SATs. And the last 2 weeks were just writing papers again and again and like correcting your mistakes, like Pratik said. Because there's no point in writing the same SAT again and again and making the same mistakes. You need to fix that weakness. When it came to the other IIMs, so that would be your Rohtak, Jammu and Kashmir, and Bodhgaya, because they don't have a foreign category. For those, I bought material from any website that was offering it. Like if you name it, there's a chance that I bought the mock test from there. So I was doing all the topic tests that were available and any mocks. So I started off with a mock every alternative day, and I kept doing topic tests mainly because I enjoyed it. Because when you're a science kid who has to study physics and chemistry, being allowed to do like high school level math is almost a relief, right? So you need to like enjoy the process and realize that this is something that you want, then you have to enjoy it while you do it. Don't just do it because you want to get there, right? So as much practice as possible, expose yourself to as many problems as you can and have fun with it.
Ritesh?
Yeah, so since I got to know about the program during my end of 11th standard, I started my preparation very slowly from the beginning of my 12th standard. I used to do only the basics of concepts. I used to just read the concepts. And after time passed and lockdown was as an advantage to me, I categorized into three phases actually. So first one was again the basic concepts reading, and the second one was the revision of basic concepts along with topic test, and the last one would be mocks along with revision of the concepts back. So when I say the learning of basic concepts, it's like the most thorough understanding a student can actually do. So it took almost 2 months. I did, it was my pace actually. So according to my pace, I took 2 months for actually mastering all the basic concepts. And then there came the second phase. I mean, that started in the month of December. Second phase, wherein I revised the concepts back and did topic tests simultaneously. And then comes the third phase after revising all those, and I realized that I will be able to take up full in mocks. Uh, I actually started with weekly mocks in the beginning, and then it went on to alternate days mocks. Yeah.
So talking about my last 30 days, so they were so hectic. But I had been preparing for months before, so I had my basics cleared. I had worked on my basics. I was actually associated with a coaching institute, so I had got material. I had got mocks. I had been giving mocks, but in the last 30 days, obviously the frequency of giving mocks had been increased. But yeah, in the last 30 days my focus was to cover as much material as possible, because obviously none of the material is enough to get into IIM Indore. So I try to look into as many material as possible on Google or from anywhere which I got from my friends who send me questions or send questions on the doubt groups, so that I can see the variety of questions from anywhere and everywhere. So last 30 days were just polishing on my concepts and doing higher level questions, so that I'm not like astounded when I see a new question in the actual exam. And what I will suggest to all the aspirants is just focus on your weak areas. You have to find out your weak areas. Everyone has some or the other weak areas. So just try to find it out and work on it as much as possible. In IPMAT, there are only two sections, that is maths and verbal. So there's not much wide area, but yes, in that too there is too much to practice for. So try to find out your weak areas and just polish them.
Sorry, just another thing
Also,
to
I would
add.
like to add, just one thing.
Okay,
Sorry,
okay.
Priyanka,
Prateek,
for
then
cutting you
Priyanka.
off. So, like, analysis is more important than just taking marks. Like, if you are getting 320 out of 400, you have to focus on those 80 marks. You have to take the worst case into consideration, that you have to think that in the exam, those 80 marks will be asked and not the 320 marks. Yeah. Priyanka, you can go on.
Basically, boats mentality.
Another thing is, and this is kind of related to what Kushal said, is that a lot of sites start doing all India level test series. And that's really useful because you'll be competing with all the kids who are focused on their prep at that point. So it gives you a very good image of where you stand. So subscribe to their email letters. I know the spam is very annoying, but now and then they'll tell you about like exams that are going on, which will help you. And if you perform really well, there's like that cash prize, which is like another incentive. It's like an instant joy. So keep yourself updated about what all the institutes are doing, just so that you can reap the benefits from all of them.
Thank you for sharing us with your last 30 days experience. I'm sure those will help your juniors like very daily. So, okay, now moving on from last 30 days to the day. Okay, the day that your exam is about to happen. So, what went through your mind the entire year worth of preparation in that little moment? So, what was it like for you from the day you got up to when you went for the exam and when you came back? What was all going through your head? Okay, Priyanka.
I remember walking into the building for my SATs and I was literally shivering. And it didn't help that so many people from my school were there. People who said they weren't writing it. So I kept going, okay, that's another person. That's one more person. But it was also a good sense of familiarity. And one thing that I did, because I was shaking walking up those two flights of stairs, I started pointing out all the good things that were happening. So I was like, oh, I got a seat next to the window. This is good. I'll never be sweating throughout the exam. Oh, look at that. That's like my favorite color. So I started focusing on like the tiny details because I didn't want to like stress about the entire fact there was. But once I started writing the exam, I kind of got lost in it. So you don't realize that time is passing because you've put so much effort to the day. It actually doesn't feel stressful while you're writing. It's only the time before. And I remember walking out and being so happy. And all these parents were like looking at me to see what my reaction was. But I was just like, okay, where's my dad? I need to tell him that it went well. So put your efforts in because you'll get that immediate satisfaction with yourself. And it feels amazing.
So on the day, I was pretty calm. So what the drop year had taught me was to stay calm in the difficult situations. And even if you take 100 plus marks before taking the actual exam, there are going to be questions that you will not know the answer to. You just have to stay calm in that moment. You just have to trust your strengths. Like, just do it. Do try to do those questions that you actually know. Because there is negative marking, okay, so you have to avoid that. Just get all those questions correct which you attempted. Don't make unnecessary attempts, because that would only cost you heavily, and sometimes heavily. Because I know a few people who missed out on their cutoff by 2 or 3 marks, just because they made a rash decision at the very heat of the moment, by attempting unnecessary questions. Just trust your strengths, because you have prepared a lot. You have prepared for 1 year or 6 months, whatever. You know everything. And plus, keep in mind that at that time, if you don't know, then all the people around you also don't know. Keep that in mind, please.
Yeah, so on the D-Day, I would say I was a little afraid because it was, of course, a competitive exam in the end. So there were a lot of participants. I was not actually expecting that many number of participants in the very center I was gonna write the exam. So that even though that thought was there, the first thing that came into my mind was, you have put so much of effort until this very day, so you gotta stay calm until you finish it and you give your 100% to it. And in the exam, the first section was QSA this year. I'm talking about this year. The section was pretty much easy. And when I got done with that section, then came QA/MCQ section. The very first question, it was like, I did not know what to do for that question. Then I went to the second question. The same thing happened. Then I went, and then I scrolled through all the questions. I realized that this section was comparatively tough than the QASA section. So what I thought was, if it is difficult for me, as Pratik said, it will be difficult for others who it will be, of course, difficult for others too. So what I thought was, there were a few questions that were easy. I picked only those questions and I attempted them. And so that the stress that did not build up, I mean, the stress in that section will not build up, and it will not affect me in the VA MCQ section that will be coming in the next part. So if I had developed that, stress that I'm not able to do those questions, these are very difficult, it would have affected me a lot in the VA MCQ section. So that was that in my mind. So that I should not get stressed in this very section. There is one more section I must complete it. I must give it my 100%. So yeah.
So, to be very honest, I was pretty much nervous on the day of the IPMAT examination, and there were a lot of parts when there were a lot of test takers around me at the side of the center, and I was like, "How are they so happy? How are they so confident?" I am very nervous. I'm going to give this examination, which is an entry to the college which I'm dreaming of. So I was pretty much nervous. But as they all said, when you start giving the examination, you get engrossed in it. If you have prepared, you know the questions, you have to attempt them. So you get engrossed in it. You don't think about the time. You just think about just do it. So yes, I had butterflies in my stomach, but still, after giving my examination, I still was nervous. I don't know how everyone's exam went. Mine was I felt it was just normal, average. But obviously, when the
Obviously, it
result came,
wasn't.
yeah, maybe. But I felt that it went normal because I made a blunder in the question which came in the QA section. that case study question. So that made my morale a bit down. But yes, I cleared the cutoff.
Okay, so like that's nice to know different perspectives. So okay, so I'll just share my perspective and we'll not be keeping this. Okay, so what happened to me was ki I gave the exam and I did the one thing that I think no one should do. I discussed the paper with my friends who were coming back. So we were all three of us gave. All three of us have been like friends for the past 4 years, and we were coming back. So while discussing, I found out, and we just discussed like 3 or 4 questions, and coincidentally, those 3 or 4 questions was supposedly I did wrong. We don't even know if I did them wrong or not because there is no guarantee that they knew the correct answer. But there was this thing ki, while coming home and when I got home, I was like devastated. I thought I have screwed it up. Now I will have to maybe try another. And see, the thing is ki, I had no plans of getting a drop here. It was either this or CA. I would have went for CA. So when that happened, so I thought that I have messed it up. I talked to my mom. She was like, okay, just fill the CA form. I was like, okay, that easily. She was like, that easy. So I had coincidentally, so the day that we had our IPMAT, I think it was 6th or 7th September, the CA forms opened up for until 10th September again. So 2 or 3 days ago, in just one day, I did all the research. Like, okay, this is what we need. This will what we'll be getting. We need to register for these boards. But the thing was, ki ICAI had just opened back the registration for the exam, not for the board of school itself. So board of school, if I wasn't registered before 30th August, I could not register for exam. So that was bummer too. Like, okay, now I'll have to wait for the entire year anyway, or whenever like the next thing starts. So that was basically what my day was like. But thankfully, I got the call from IIM Indore. Like when I literally when the results came and when I checked, okay, I have been shortlisted. I was like, okay, this self doubt is a bad thing, which is what we'll be moving to next. So, what was it like when you saw when we opened the portal? I think it was portal for you guys too. So when you opened the portal and you saw that okay, Priyanka, Kiran, or Ritinder shortlisted for interview. So what was that feeling like when you got a call from the for interview?
I I don't think I've read the entire mail so far because all I saw was congratulations. I went completely numb. My entire family was there with me, so they were the ones who read the mail for me. Like, this is the information. This is when you're having your interview. But I remember completely zoning out and going, I can't believe this happened. And I actually got shortlisted because I had so many doubts about all of this. And when it happened, and I realized that I'd be sitting for my interview, there's this immense happiness, and then there's my parents who are hugging me, my brother who's like cheering and going more crazy than I was. But then the interview tension started. But
There is like a split second of yes, I
yeah,
did it.
yeah, an
That
immediate interview because everyone else is excited you got to the next part, but all you're thinking is there is a next part.
there is a next part.
There is a next part.
Yes, there always is. Okay, Pratik, what
So
about you?
when I got the call for the interview, okay, I was like, "Yay, I got it!" I just ran up to my father to tell him that yes, I got the call. He was very happy. He was, I don't know, very proud of me. I was like, okay, you can be happy, but don't be proud. I haven't cleared it yet. I haven't cleared it yet. And if my interview doesn't go well, I'm not going to make it. So all the excitement would go, down. And so the next day, my father started making calls to various counselors and all, so that my interview preparation goes well. So yes, then as Priyanka said, you are happy for one moment, then yes, oh God, interview of IIM Indore. So that was a pretty big opportunity. Plus, I remembered that I have been very fortunate. Like I have been one of those 800 aspirants who got the call for interview. So I should not take it for granted. I have to give my best because not people are that fortunate to receive an interview call from IIM Indore. It's a big thing. people spend so many years clearing cat, then group discussions, then personal interviews to get into IM for top 5 IMs. And I was like, I just got the call from the most premier institution just after my class 12th. So I knew that I have to become extra serious again. And like I said, reading newspapers, I also kept a store of those newspapers, because in my interview, the interviewer asked me about the Galwan clash that happened like so many months ago. And the question was, Pratik, do you know how many Indian personnel lost their lives? And thankfully, I had read the newspaper from the very start, and I knew the exact number. That was 21. 21 Indian personnel lost their lives in the Galwan clash between India and China. And just 2 days before, 2 days ago, I mean, RBI changed its monetary policy. I read about that too. So that's the importance of newspaper. Even if you mess up in your introduction or you stutter in your interview, if you get these technical questions right, you are in. You have already made an impression in front of the interviewer. Like my interviewer was actually impressed when I said the 21, the number 21, because that's a very deep information, and that you get to know about such information only if you have read the entire article and not just skim through it. You have to take newspapers very seriously. That was my entire thing. Like, I guess because of the monetary policy of RBI, economics and maths, obviously, and the newspaper and the article about the Galwan clash, I am in IIM Indore. So that's the importance of newspapers.
Yeah, so the first thing that I told to myself when I was done with the IPMAT was, you are getting the interview call. So on that very next day, I mean on the very next week, so July 16th was the exam and July 23 was the date of result. That was supposed to be the date of declaration of result according to the past year's trend. So I was literally like uh, checking the website every moment. I like from 9 o'clock in the morning till 6:30 in the evening. I was checking the website every single. I mean, very frequently. I focused only on that. The results will come and I'm gonna get it. So what happened? At that day they sent it at 9:30 in the night. So I was just checking through the website and I was checking the Telegram group actually. I was checking through the Telegram group and they said results are out. I was like so nervous. I've not been nervous that much in my whole life. I searched through I went to the website and you know click, I mean enter the credentials, and when I saw congratulations, my god, I got the interview call. Then I told my parents, and actually my father was not there at the time. He came afterwards. I told him, then he was really happy, and then I told him, okay, there is interview. I've got to prepare for that interview. So this is how it did. So yeah.
Yeah. So, yes, seeing that big congratulation word in the mail was pretty much exciting for me and for everyone too. I think so. But yes, I told it to my parents. They were all very happy. And like all the three others said, that it was just one step. I did not clear the IIM Indore entry gate, but yes, it was one step ahead. So I tried. I now started thinking about how to prepare for interview. Then another blessing came, UniVoyage, who stepped up and took the initiative of UniPrep and started taking sessions about how to prepare for interview. And even they even took mock interview. Apart from that, I had mock interviews from my coaching as well. And yes, as Pratik said, newspaper do play a role, because I have seen students who were totally clueless when they thought they came to know that GK might also come in the interview. They can ask from anything and everything. So I had been studying GK, I had been studying reading newspapers. So I did not have that pressure that I have to study the GK and I have to know everything about what's happening around. So that was a bit of an edge, but yes, there was the next step, and I started preparing for that from that moment only.
Okay. So, like, mainly the consensus was ki there is a long way to go. And the newspaper. Okay, so the newspaper thing actually is very helpful because even though personally didn't have any interview, but for the basically I started reading newspaper because my reading speed for the comprehension section, that was very slow at that time because when I started, so I had to develop a habit of reading. So that's where it helped me. And even for the interview, so the institute that I was enrolled in, they used to conduct frequent mock interviews for us. And I went to each and every one of them. So even if they conducted for an interview for an institute from which I didn't get a call, for example, they conducted one for IIM Rohtak, and I didn't even get a call, but I still went for the mock interview. And so it was, because for me it was basically I somewhat liked giving the interviews. Because there is a person who is like asking me, and then I have to share. Okay, the GK part and the academics part you have to focus on, but basically it's to assess you. It's your assessment. So I saw it as an opportunity to make him see me in a way like I want him to. So maybe even though he's the one asking the questions, I'm the one with the control of the room, because whatever I say, that's how the interview goes. So that was what basically I liked about the interview part. Okay, so moving on. So okay, this is the last question. How how did you feel on the day of the interview, like from when you got up to like, okay, uh, dressing up and then preparing for everything, just revising everything that you have written for the interview, and then finally getting, I think it was your online interview, you got a link, right? So finally joining the link. So how was the entire experience like? And then when you finally got you know the final result, that okay, you have made it, the final list. So what was that like? Because when I got the final result, I screamed so hard. My mom came downstairs. She was like, "Kya ho gaya?" Literally, मैं इतना जोर से चिल्लाया था. And she was worried for a second. And then I was like, "I'm in Indore में हो गया." She was like, "चिल्ला क्यों रहा है?" I'm like, "I'm in Indore में हो गया." So yes, that was the consensus there. So what was with you guys?
So from the morning that I woke up for my interview, I was worried, but I'd already done one actual interview before that. So I was kind of hoping it would go the way that did. It did not. So I woke up and I was stressed. And my parents were really sweet. Like they were like decorating my room and they're like, should we keep the trophies here or should we keep the trophies there? And I'm like, that's going to look really bad for me. Please don't do that. And I remember I had to sit in the room for I think an hour or so, just waiting for my name to be called. And I was stressed and I was jittery. So I started watching Trevor Noah videos to like pass the time and to remind myself to like chill down a bit. And during the actual interview, I made the mistake of telling them that I was a debater and I've chaired MUs before. Because one of the interviewers got so excited and he was like, this is great. Now I'm going to ask you the full forms for any organization that exists. So he asked me the full form for OPEC and other like committees and treaties that have been made. And I kept telling them, I'm so sorry, I don't know. But I did know my subject related questions. I was able to do the critical analyzing questions. So don't think you can get away with not knowing your GK. It's very important, right? But I think just having a general spirit of cheer throughout my interview is what was the pushing edge for me. And all of that went. And I think there was 2 weeks before the interview on the results, right?
Okay, so for the result part, we'll just go afterwards. So first, you all just share about the interview.
So the day before my interview, I was praying to God, like I was praying to God, I hope my interview lasts long, because I I know that the longer the interview, the better it is. So my interview time was 3:10, but they let me into the meeting at 3:20. So the moment they did, they asked me a couple of questions. They started asking me questions, and I was lost in the time. I lost track of time. I was completely focused on answering the questions. My interview went perfect. I answered every question. I guess because of the interview, the rank was affected and had an effect on my rank. So I am completely grateful to the interview part. And my interview lasted for 30 minutes. So after my interview got over, I knew that it went nice. It went very well. So I'll be getting in. So yeah, my focus was I hope the interview goes as long as possible. So that was the time, and I wasn't freaking out. I was just meditating, like trying to calm myself down. Like, okay, like when the clock struck 3:10, I was starting. Yes, now any moment they would let me in, but they were not. They made me wait for 10 minutes, and in that 10 minutes, okay, yes, the time is gonna come. And when they let me in the meeting finally, then I was completely focused on the questions, and the interviewers were very friendly. They were so good and they were so polite. They did not even try to intimidate me. They just started asking questions, technical questions, and one of those questions were even related to French Revolution and the Sikh Empire. I could never see that coming. Okay, like why would an interviewer ask me about French Revolution and Sikh Empire? Then I thought, I guess he's just trying to freak me out. And but I pulled myself together. I remembered my class 10th history. So I obviously I did not know everything about French Revolution, but I could answer 3 out of 5 questions on those. So that and the interviewer also knows that a student cannot answer all the 5 questions. But if you answer 3 questions, the bare minimum, which was three, you have made an impact. Then came to my academic questions. They asked me about my favorite subject. I told them maths and economics. Some questions were related to that. If and my economics was my favorite subject, so most of the questions were related to economics. Then questions came about the general awareness, Galwan clash, the RBI monetary policy. They were inclined. I somehow gave them an insinuation that I'm an economic oriented student. So please ask me about the RBI policies and all the repo rates. So because I had prepared them very well. So you have to give a hint, or try to steer your interview in your own favor, in your own direction of your likings, dislikings. You have to avoid the disliking part. You have to make sure that what you are saying, you have enough proof to back it up. Like if you are saying that you are interested in economics, not only should you know about the course that you studied in 11th and 12th, but also you should know about the practical world. Economics is obviously RBI's policy. You should know about those. So after my interview got over, I know, I looked up, and yes, I'm gonna make it. Yes, I knew that because the interview lasted for 30 minutes. So yes, that was it.
So, Kushal, yes,
Yes.
your interview day. How was your interview day?
Yeah, so like my IPMAT day, it was again, I was very nervous. I was like saying the clock again and again. Oh my God, the time has come, the time has come. But I was fortunate enough that I did not have to wait too long in the in the waiting room. I just had to wait 2 or 3 minutes because that time is like you have so many butterflies in your stomach. But yeah, I was fortunate enough. And when the interview started, they asked my favorite subject, and there were loads of questions on economics, and I was able to answer them. So that boosted my confidence. And again, then there was some mathematics question. I made a mistake in one question, but that didn't affect it much because the interviewer tried to move the question towards where I realized my mistake, and then I told them yes, what this is what the correct answer is. And then there was some GK questions. They asked me a lot of chief ministers, and there was also a question in the end, like what one decision which you will make if you are made the prime minister of the country. So I think I answered that pretty well also. So I think that also made a good impression. And yes, after the interview was over, I was happy. I was like, yes, it went well. I went to my mother. I said, Mama, it went well. Now I'm going to my friend's house.
Um, so for the interview, first I had Rotak's interview. So it was scheduled for 9:30 in the morning. I was like waiting for more than 1.5 hours. That I was becoming so nervous that I might be called this time. I might be called that time. So I Rohtak's interview did not actually go well because I was so nervous because I was made to wait for more than 1.5 hours. So when I joined in, like they were asking very technical questions and tricky questions. So as a result of which, I got too nervous, and to be frank, I that interview did not go well. But as that was only a 15% interview, 15% weightage, I actually did get a call from Rohtak. And then coming back to Indore's interview, it was scheduled for 11 in the morning, and I was let in within 15 minutes itself. So that was like I was like fortunate, like Kushal. So when I went in, they did not ask for any intro. They just asked me what was your favorite subject, and I told it was mathematics. And what topics did you like? I told my favorite topics, and there were continuous questions on the topic. So after that, there was another panelist who asked me general knowledge questions. So this is where I would tell you reading newspaper was very important. That was a time when actually Karnataka's chief minister was replaced. So that's where the reading newspapers importance came into play for me. And then actually I was having various kind of possibilities for interview, because when I looked into the Telegram group of mock, and I mean not only for the mock interview that I got read from UniVoyage, and along with the actual interview questions that were shared by the students, there were like infinite possibilities. Some had intro, some did not have intro, some were asked only subjective questions, some were asked only general knowledge questions. So I was which type of thing am I gonna get? So I was like waiting for. I was actually expecting tricky questions, but fortunately, I did not have any. I'd said I did not have any, but I did have one or two tricky questions in my interview. So it was after interview I realized that compared to Rohtak's interview, it went really, really, really well. And I told my mom, like Kushal told, like it went really well. Now I'm gonna like wait for the result. So that was like then the next 1 week, then came the result.
Okay, so that's nice. Okay, so moving on towards the end, we've been here for an hour now, but obviously the audience didn't get to see the whole hour worth of footage. So, what was it like the day when you got your results? You got to know, like, okay, now I'm finally getting into IIM Indore. What was that feeling like? What realization did occur to you? Like, this is a whole new phase of your life about to begin. You are finally out of that school life phase and that preparation phase, and you know, running in the rat race, and now you get to be, work on yourself. You get to be your own person now instead of just doing what others around you are doing. So what was that whole entire experience like, Priyanka?
Yeah. So I think when I got my results again, this time I was the only one in the room because we weren't sure when like foreign candidates would get their results. So it was completely random. I had my mail open for like the last week, and I would reload the page every 5 seconds just in case, right? And when it came, I remember running down the stairs and I just like pushed the laptop onto my dad, and I was like, okay, you check if it's real or not because I'm not sure, right? And that happens, and then you start connecting, right? Just like an hour after I got in, I was added into the WhatsApp group for Indore, and I had seniors messaging me, congratulating me, and you get this whole energy, right? And because our seniors have said it again and again on UniVoyage, IPM is a very tight knit community, and I felt that in my first hour with all the messages and the excitement and people congratulating one another. So there's that first feeling of finally being an adult and stepping into this new chapter. I don't think I've actually had that realization that I can do whatever I want because I'm still in the same room in which I was studying my 12th grade. So I haven't had that realization that, oh, you can do whatever you want. But I have goals and I have my bucket list sorted. So can't wait for campus for that.
Yes.
So I guess Priyanka has covered actually everything. I guess everyone would have gone through the same feeling. And like when I saw congratulations, I literally kneeled and I thank God actually. I'm not even kidding. Like it was the first major breakthrough for me. And I was happy that I did not concede to any other XYZ college, and I trusted my instincts, and I trusted my belief that yes, I can make it to the biggest college, and I was pretty happy. And as Priyanka said, now we are into a next phase of our lives of being an adult. So I'm pretty excited and looking forward to actually coming to the campus.
Yeah. So first, Rohtak's results actually came within 5 days of the interview. So when Indo's interview for mine, it took place on 13th. I was waiting for I was checking the mail and the website from the very fifth day. Like as I did for the interview calls result, I did the same for the results too. I was like waiting. Today is going to be the day. Today is going to be the day. I was waiting for like 3 days, and the third day when I was like, in the second day, I really wanted the result to come because it was going to be the seventh day. Like the interviews call came after the week, and after the interview, a week after the interview, the results going to come after a week. So I was searching for that day. So when I realized that after 10 o'clock, actually on that day, fortunately, the website actually got crashed. I thought that that was going to be the day, but it was not actually. So then I realized that okay, it's not going to come as of now. So let's go sleep. The next day, I kept searching again and again and again. Actually, what happened? I was slightly not feeling not well that day, so I slept from say 4:30 to 6:30. The results came exactly at 5:30. Waking up and seeing a full load of messages in Telegram, in the mail. Before actually checking my mail, I actually went into the portal. I mean, the website. After again doing logging in through the credentials, it was like for those 10 seconds, utmost nervousness, like utmost nervousness to see that congratulations and the merit rank and all those was like very 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 awesome. And then only then I did check my mail, and it was mentioned, okay, you are supposed to proceed with the next works. And yeah, then actually for both these interview results and my final selection, I was only there. I checked my I mean I was only there. I was like, that's why there was so much nervousness when I told my parents. It was like, you were aiming for it, you got it, so congratulations. And they were really 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 happy. And then when after that, I actually texted UniVoyage seniors who were there, who I had actually contacted through Telegram, you know, before, and they were like, yeah, so congratulations. And I actually thanked them for really helping me out through the interview process, and they said it was totally your own effort. We were just a single part of it. So that was really good.
Yeah, so uh, on the website in the frequently asked questions, it was written that the results will come in third week, and third week started for 15th, but it actually came on I think 20th. So for that 5 days, I kept on checking the website, I kept on checking mail, I kept on checking the Telegram groups. But when it actually came, I was just sitting. I don't remember what I was doing, but a call from my friend came. I knew what was it about. I cut the call. I went to Telegram group. I saw that the results are out. I went to the website, saw the rank. I was like, I went to my sister. I showed her the phone. Like, Didi, this is what I got, and she was so excited, and my whole of my family was excited, and even my friends, my close friends, came and congratulated me. My grandmother, my parents said, yes, you prepared for it the whole year, and you have cleared it, so congratulations, it was your effort. And I then called all my teachers and mentors to thank them, like, for motivating me throughout the year, throughout this difficult phase. And yes, it was a very good feeling.
As we move towards the end of the video, it was nice talking to you all, and I believe that the aspirants that are preparing for right now, because I think the entire boards pattern has also changed this year. So I think that this video will give you guys some motivation to keep going and just keep putting your best efforts in and be confident, like Pratik is over here. Okay, so be that confident after giving the paper. Yes, I'm getting the call, and after the interview, yes, I will be getting it. So just keep going and don't worry. And I would like to thank you everyone for devoting the 1 hour 15 minutes, 1 hour 30 minutes actually, and given the fact that you have your quiz tomorrow. So if you want to do an outro, you shall. The usual subscribe to Invite. Thank you for watching thing. You can do if you want.
So thank you, Harshul. Thank you to the entire UniVoyage team, and please subscribe the channel, and thank you for watching.